Hey everyone, welcome back. The worst winter is still yet to come for much of the United States, as an intense polar vortex is set to unleash a wave of Arctic air that will sweep across the country, bringing some of the coldest temperatures in years. The storm system responsible for this cold front is already taking shape, and it is expected to grow in intensity as it moves eastward. As the polar vortex tightens its grip, the weather will turn dramatically colder, with many areas seeing temperatures drop to levels rarely experienced in modern winters. The brutal chill will not only bring extreme cold, but also trigger a chain of weather events that include powerful storms, heavy snow, severe thunderstorms, and even the threat of flash flooding. This multifaceted weather event will affect millions of people, causing major disruptions, hazardous travel conditions, and potentially significant damage across wide swaths of the country. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Already, the storm is making its presence felt along the west coast, where heavy rain and snow have begun to pour down on the region. The precipitation, which has been particularly intense in California, has already reached up to 5 or 7 inches of rain in some places, leading to flash flood warnings in low-lying areas. As the storm progresses eastward, it will continue to gather strength, with forecasts predicting that by the time it reaches the Midwest, the East Coast, and even the Southeast, it will have intensified into a dangerous storm capable of producing a wide array of severe weather. In addition to heavy snow and ice in some regions, the storm is expected to bring severe thunderstorms, potentially spawning tornadoes and creating widespread power outages. As the system moves east, the combination of heavy snow, freezing rain, and severe thunderstorms will make for a tumultuous weekend, with conditions deteriorating rapidly as it moves inland. By Saturday and Sunday, the storm system will shift eastward, and its effects will be felt throughout the Midwest, the Great Plains, and parts of the East. The snow will begin to accumulate heavily, especially in states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and northern Illinois, where residents can expect to see between 10 and 15 inches of snow. Further south, parts of the Ohio Valley and the Northeast will experience lighter snow, but still, totals will be significant, with between 2 and 8 inches falling across affected areas. The storm will bring severe cold along with it, as an Arctic air mass arrives from the north, pushing temperatures to dangerous levels. In many parts of the country, including the Midwest, Great Plains, and northern Rockies, temperatures could plummet to as much as 40 to 60 degrees below normal for this time of year, with wind chills making it feel even colder. The cold will not be brief either. While much of the country will experience a significant drop in temperatures, the worst of the cold will last for several days, with Arctic conditions expected to stick around through the end of the week and well into the following week. In many areas, temperatures could dip below zero, with wind chills making it feel as though it's well below freezing. In the Midwest, the northern plains, and parts of the Northeast, this could lead to some of the coldest temperatures seen in decades. These extreme conditions have the potential to break long-standing temperature records, and they will likely put a strain on energy systems, leading to potential power outages. With high demand for heating and the possibility of infrastructure damage from the extreme cold, the weather will pose a real threat to public safety, particularly for those unprepared for such drastic changes. While the Arctic air will dominate much of the country, the storm system will also bring significant precipitation in the form of rain, snow, and ice. As the system moves eastward, areas of the Midwest and Great Plains will see substantial snowfall, with some places reporting accumulations in excess of a foot. In Michigan, Wisconsin, and Illinois, snow will fall rapidly, creating hazardous travel conditions. The snow will also be accompanied by freezing rain in some regions, which could result in dangerous, slick roadways and a higher risk of power outages. Ice accumulations of up to 1/4 of an inch are expected in parts of New York, Pennsylvania, and New England. And in these regions, power lines and trees could be heavily impacted, leading to widespread disruptions. Beyond the Midwest and Northeast, the storm will also bring severe weather to the Southeast. As the low-pressure system intensifies, it will tap into warm, moist air flowing northward from the Gulf of Mexico, setting the stage for severe thunderstorms. These storms will develop Saturday afternoon, with the highest risks for severe weather concentrated in states like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. As the storms move eastward, they will likely bring damaging winds, large hail, and the possibility of tornadoes. The severe weather could escalate into an outbreak of tornadoes, particularly in the areas of Mississippi and Alabama, where the conditions will be favorable for supercells capable of producing destructive twisters. These supercells, isolated thunderstorms with rotating updrafts, will have the potential to produce tornadoes that can cause extensive damage. The tornado risk will extend into Sunday morning as the storms continue to move through the southeast, bringing more severe weather to areas like Georgia, Florida, and the Carolinas. By this point, the system will have already caused significant damage, and the risk of flooding will also rise, especially in areas already experiencing heavy rain. Flash flooding will be a concern, particularly in Arkansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee, where rainfall totals of 2 to 5 inches are expected. This rainfall will quickly accumulate in areas with poor drainage systems, leading to the potential for flash floods. Other parts of the southeast, including Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida, will experience lighter rainfall, but flooding will still remain a concern as the storm's moisture spreads across the region. But that's not all the storm has in store. We're also looking at a heightened risk of severe weather tomorrow. The warm sector of the storm system will bring thunderstorms with the potential for tornadoes, especially across parts of Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. The greatest threat for tornadoes is in the mid-Mississippi River Valley, where there's a 10 chance of tornadoes occurring. The threat for severe storms is expected to last from 3 p.m. to midnight, with the worst conditions hitting areas like Memphis, Jackson, and Birmingham. This is a storm that's not just bringing rain. It's packing a serious punch with winds up to 70 mph in some places. The squall line will race through the region, and as it moves eastward, it will likely spark tornadoes and cause widespread wind damage. To live in any of the affected areas, you should be prepared for tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings to be issued as this storm moves through. The timing of the severe weather will be critical, and it's expected to unfold quickly. By late afternoon, the storms will begin to move into Arkansas and Mississippi, and by the evening, they'll reach Memphis and Birmingham. These storms will likely bring damaging winds, hail, and the possibility of tornadoes. If you're in a vulnerable area, it's crucial to have a plan in place, especially as the storm progresses into the evening and overnight hours. The storm will make its way through cities like Huntsville and Nashville before moving into the Appalachian Mountains and eventually tapering off by Sunday. The situation will remain dynamic, and it's important to stay updated on the latest weather information as this system evolves. As if all of that isn't enough, the storm is also bringing heavy snow to the northern U.S. from Michigan to upstate New York. Snow totals could easily surpass 10 inches in some areas, particularly in northern Michigan, upstate New York. In addition to the snow, freezing rain and sleet will make travel even more difficult in places like Chicago and southern Ontario. The snow will continue into New England, and the snowstorm will likely cause hazardous driving conditions and the potential for power outages. The snow will be heavy and wet, which could lead to downed trees and power lines in some areas. It's a reminder that while we're still in the heart of winter, the storms that come with it are far from over. And just when we thought this monster storm couldn't get any more intense, we've got another one on the horizon. By Tuesday, February 19th, another large-scale winter storm is expected to develop, and it could bring even more snow, ice, and severe weather to the U.S. This storm is expected to bring snow as far south as Oklahoma City and Little Rock, with the potential for severe thunderstorms to fire up in Houston and New Orleans. As the storm moves east, it could evolve into a classic East Coast nor'easter, bringing snow and freezing rain to cities along the eastern seaboard. It's still too early to say for sure, but this system looks like it could be a big one, especially for those in the southern Appalachians, the mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast. It's one of the more intriguing storm systems we've seen all season, and it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Looking ahead, winter doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon. While it's tempting to hope for warmer temperatures, it looks like the cold weather is sticking around through February 23rd. Below average temperatures are expected for much of the country, and there's still a chance for more snow, ice, and winter storms in the coming weeks. It's only mid-February, so we still have a lot of winter left to go. This current storm is a reminder that winter weather can be unpredictable, and it's important to stay prepared, especially as we head into the end of the month. In the meantime, there's no shortage of wild weather to keep track of. From snowstorms to severe thunderstorms and flooding, this current storm is having a major impact on many parts of the country. For those in the path of the storm, it's crucial to stay informed and make sure you have a plan in place in case of severe weather or flooding. Whether you're dealing with rain, snow, or strong winds, this is a storm that requires your attention. And if you live in a flood-prone area, be ready for the possibility of significant flooding. The ground is already saturated, and any additional rain could cause rivers to rise quickly. For those in the South and Midwest, the threat of severe weather, including tornadoes and damaging winds, is especially high. Make sure you're paying attention to your local weather alerts and take action if necessary. As we move through the next few days, we'll continue to track this massive storm and the impact it's having across the U.S. It's a dynamic situation, and conditions could change rapidly. Make sure you have a plan in place, stay safe, and stay updated on the latest forecasts. This Valentine's Day might be about love for some, but for others, it's all about weather preparedness. Stay safe out there.